I had organized a date a couple of days ago for today. I messaged her this morning to double-check if she's still up for it, to which she responded yes. Now she's messaged me saying she's probably going to be too tired. I feel like that's code for I no longer want to see you because, at least as a guy, if I wanted to see someone, being tired would not stop that from happening. What should I reply? Edit. I offered something more relaxed like going to the cinema, which she agreed to, but when I was discussing what film we should watch, she kept stalling and being indecisive, to the point where even if we did go to the cinema, we missed most of the showings. She then canceled again. I just said I understand and deleted her social media. Thanks for all the great advice. Story 1. As a man who has been dating for 7 years now, most of the time when she cancels last minute, it's because she's not interested in dating you. However, sometimes they are just genuinely in a bad headspace and know that it would not be a good date for either of you. The key is whether or not they actively seek to reschedule when they cancel. If she says that she's going to be tired and has to postpone, and then doesn't give you a specific day to reschedule, assume she's not interested and move on. Story 2. My rule here and general thinking is that if she indeed was too tired, she would also include a rescheduled day in the text. If she doesn't, then move on. There's no point in asking if she wants to reschedule. It just prolongs a slow, painful end of her ghosting you. Story 3. You tell her no problem and to get some rest. Then you continue with your life. As you said, if she wants to see you, she will. It is up to you if you want to leave that option open. Story 4. Okay. Let me know if you would like to reschedule. The decision is hers, and you can move on to someone else you are talking to. If she reschedules, great. If not, you are not waiting around. Story 5. Nothing. She's not interested. Next. Have you ever noticed that interested women aren't tired when they have dates? Story 6. If she doesn't already actively try to offer or find a reschedule, it means it's over. Don't try anything. Story 7. Yeah, even if I was tired, it wouldn't stop me from seeing someone I was truly into. Sorry that happened to you. Story 8. If they suggest an alternate time or day, I go with it. If they don't, I just text something like, no worries, have a great day, and then move on. Story 9. Women are not too tired to date men they want to date. If a woman really wants to be with you, she'll make the effort to do it. She's telling you she isn't really all that interested. Something better probably came up or someone became more interesting to her. Story 10. My now girlfriend did this. She had just flown home from a work trip. I thought that would be the end of the whole thing, but she wrote to me a few days later. Now we live together and have a little boy. Story 11. Context matters. For the above situation, that is not good but not grounds to burn bridges, especially if this is not a first date. Probably a good response is to put it on them to reschedule. More generally, if the person has a volatile life or responsibilities that put them on call, things happen. You may have to cancel due to health issues with a family member, or a difficult boss who calls you in when you're not in a position to refuse. If this was long planned and has some non-refundable costs, like concert tickets, it is on them to make it up to you. And if this is someone who shows a tendency to cancel at the last minute, then it may be time to walk away. In summary, I would give them a second chance and the opportunity to make it up to me. I would certainly not give out a fifth chance. End communication. Story 12. My approach in life is to assume best intentions, but leave the decision to them. Something like, if you want to try again, let me know. You don't know what kind of day it was for them. A call would have been better, of course, or a real explanation, but as we know, things happen. If they are genuinely interested, they will get back to you. If not, then move on. Story 13. You reply nothing. It's over. That is just disrespectful. I made a plan with you, but I can't be bothered anymore. If a woman is interested, she puts in effort too. She is just bored and needs you to pass the time. Story 14. Send her a series of 30 angry, rambling messages and a request to cover the cost of your haircut. Sometimes I don't know which part they're downvoting. Story 15. Tell her okay. Then a few minutes later, text her, hey, my night actually freed up if you still want to go out. If she replies to that, just say, Sorry, wrong text. Make her think you have options. Stay toxic. King. Story 16. I went on a date after a 12-hour night shift with 2 hours of sleep because I really liked that man. Always remember, if they want to, they would. Story 17. I understand. Rest up. By responding with this, you are respecting and affirming what she told you. Leave it at that and then go on with your life. If she reaches out to you and wants to reschedule, then great, but don't contact her any further otherwise. Story 18. I had a girl do this to me once. I spent days planning a huge date, and then she basically ghosted me on the day of the date, messaging me at 11 p.m. saying, "Sorry, I fell asleep," except we had a mutual friend. A mutual friend she'd spent all day hanging out with, who messaged me saying, "Didn't you two have a date today?" So I stepped up my game, spoke with the mutual friend, and planned the perfect date, incorporating all this girl's favorite things, sparing no expense. I went all out and told her about every single amazing thing we were going to do. She was excited. The night before the date, I turned my phone off. I woke up the next day at 2 p.m., went downstairs, made a coffee, and hung out with my roommate, playing video games and watching movies all day. I turned my phone back on at 11 p.m. and saw dozens of missed calls and progressively angrier messages from her. I messaged her, "Sorry, I fell asleep," and never spoke to her again. Would I do this again? Absolutely not. What an absolute rude move. Did it feel good though? Yes, it did. Story 19. Let me know when you're up for getting together. Give her no more than a week to get back to you. If you haven't heard back from her in that time, move on. Story 20. Last minute? What time zone are you in, and what time were you planning to meet? I would suggest that the ball is now in her court. Reply with something like, "Okay, let me know when would be good for us to try again." Story 21. It's not that she can't be tired. That's perfectly plausible. But interested people reschedule. If someone is interested and they don't try to reschedule, they're probably not worth your time. Story 22. If it is a first-time offense, cut them some slack. Second time, it needs to be a good reason. Third time, they do not care and you are wasting your time. When someone cares and wants the same things you do, then it is not hard. When they do not, it is very hard. It really is that simple. Story 23. Thanks for letting me know. Please reach out when you're feeling better if you want to reschedule. Then you don't say a word to her until you hear from her again. The ball is in her court, and nobody ghosted anybody or was rude to each other. She's free to reschedule or forget about you entirely, and you'll have clarity either way. Story 24. Like others have said, no worries. Leave it alone. If she texts you again, that's great. If not, it wasn't meant to be. Story 25. Definitely agree with leaving it in her court. My reaction would have been something like, "No worries. Get some rest. Let me know if you want to go a different night. Just realize that there may be other reasons for her canceling besides being tired. That might be the excuse she is giving. It is possible there is a more valid but personal reason she had to cancel, which she doesn't want to share with you. Or she isn't interested. I just wanted to say you can give her the benefit of the doubt and leave it for her to reschedule. You will find out in the next few days after not responding if she is interested." Story 26. Use the 2 or 3 strike rule. Ask her if another time is good, and let her come to you. Don't overthink this too much. Story 27. I had a similar experience with the girl I'm seeing now. You need to decide where to draw the line between coincidence and excuse. However, I see this girl a lot, and we get along well in person, so I accepted more coincidences than I would with others. It was worth it because she's really fun to be around, but if we didn't see each other in person often, I probably would have assumed she was avoiding me. Story 28. For what it's worth, my girlfriend of now 2 years canceled our first couple of dates because she was too nervous, and now it's been the best relationship either of us have had. Your mileage may vary. Story 29. The best response to me is thumbs up or okay. Don't contact them again. It's on them now, and most of the time you will find they won't contact you again. If they do and you are available, then maybe. When I was online dating, I had zero tolerance for last-minute cancellations because I know it's mostly just nonsense. Especially when they use the generic excuses of being too tired or not feeling well. I was willing to lose out on the very small percentage of women who had legitimate reasons, hence the zero tolerance. As a man, you should have standards and stick to those standards. Story 30. Normally, when someone cancels on me at the last minute without an offer to reschedule in the same message, I'll say, "No problem. Let me know if you want to reschedule," and leave the decision to them. I used to give people the benefit of the doubt, but most times it ends with people ghosting for whatever reason. Unless it's a serious issue like a family emergency or a sick child, I tend to move on and focus on other opportunities until they suggest a different date. That way, if they do ghost me, I'm not upset. I shrug it off and move on with my life. I find that most genuine people do offer to reschedule immediately and propose a different date. If someone was truly too tired but wanted to see you, I would expect them to offer a reschedule. If they don't reply or avoid the question, just spare yourself the heartache and move on. Story 31. My advice for the future: don't go to a movie on a first date. It's 2 hours where you're looking at a screen, thinking you should be talking to this person. Story 32. No worries. Hit me up if you want to try again. Then go about your business being a stoic man of purpose. Focus on your hobbies, career, mind, and body. Women will follow, you will be fine, my man. Story 33. Tell her no problem. Contact me when you're free. If she's still interested and just worked a double shift or something, she'll make plans. At least you didn't get stood up or actually go on the date in here. I like you and I want to do this again next weekend if you're free. Followed by texting all week, only for her to ghost you on the day of. Story 34. Take the high road. Be mature. Tell her you hope she gets some rest and maybe you all can try again sometime. But you're probably not going to try again sometime. Story 35. So, I know some female friends who get anxiety about meeting a guy for the first time. They find ways to avoid it without realizing it. It's psychosomatic. To avoid anxiety, they might feel tired or something similar. This feeling goes away once the first meeting happens. I had that anxiety too, but I would go anyway. Story 36. Just to offer another perspective, I used to do this with people I liked a lot because I had serious anxiety. I said yes to the dates because I liked the other person and wanted them to continue to be interested in me, but would always bail at the last minute due to a crippling fear that if we actually spent time together, they would realize how flawed I was and would no longer pursue me or ask me on dates. I have since grown a lot as a person and now understand how unfair it is to the other person to act that way, and also the meaning and importance of mutual effort. Removing yourself or limiting the effort you put in is still the right course, but I just wanted to add that second perspective. It's not always as simple as "she's not interested." Story 37. I usually use ChatGPT for that kind of stuff. Feed it her original message and tell it what tone it should have, like passive-aggressive. It's actually super fun to do and keeps your mind away from disappointment. Story 38. I generally don't assume malice or flakiness with last-minute cancellations because life can throw a curveball that requires your attention away from what you've planned. However, if she told you she might be too tired, that's disrespectful to your time and effort. Do you want to date someone like that? Leaving her without a response is an appropriate reaction here. Story 39. Don't reply anything, ever. There are too many fish in the sea to waste your time on immature nonsense like this. Start calling others you're interested in or even female friends that are cool and say, "Hey, I know it's short notice, but I've got tickets to an event tonight and could use a +1. Any interest?" Story 40. You can use advice in the comments and try to reschedule, but honestly, I wouldn't want to be with a person who cancels plans last minute because they're too tired. Story 41. Yes, this is code that she changed her mind. Walk away with your head up. You were fair and polite. She'll later realize that's a hard trait to find in the dating world. Her loss. And if she texts you again, just make sure she puts in fair effort. As a woman, I have seen too many women string men along with piecemeal texts because they like the attention and show no real interest. The next time you talk, she should be offering a rain check for the date, not a generic "hi" or "why haven't you texted me?" That's the start of the string along. Story 42. Yes, reschedule once. Things come up and it's good to be understanding. More than once trying for a first date means she is playing games. Story 43. You don't. She's dead to you. You're busy speaking or hanging out with your option B and C. If she's interested, she'll reach out again. Story 44. 1. Others have good advice on the no worries approach and then leave the decision up to her. 2. If she didn't offer alternative future dates and options or apologize, I'd honestly take it a step further and categorize her as date for fun in your mind. Keep her there until proven otherwise. I think too many men settle for women who settled for them. Don't be that guy. Find a woman who genuinely wants to be with you from the start. If the spark isn't there at the beginning, you're likely to end up in a dull relationship after a few years of marriage. Story 45. Tell her there is no problem and find a new date. Hopefully, she will respond by then. If not, put her in the backup book like they do to us. Story 46. Oh well, maybe some other time. Obviously, you stop pursuing at this point. No worries means you're a doormat, and she shouldn't feel bad about flaking on you, especially with such an excuse. Story 47. Move on. She's not interested. Would it be nice if she would just say that? Yes, but some people just don't have it in them to do it. Just thank her for her time, wish her good luck in life, block, and move on. Story 48. I'd just say, okay, let me know if you'd like to reschedule, and then I'd never bring it up again. If she reaches out, cool. If not, you aren't wasting energy trying to figure it out. Story 49. Roll with it. Ask if there's another less energy-draining activity she would be interested in doing with you. Story 50. In my opinion, I just let them set the pace from that point forward. If they message me about rescheduling, that's awesome. I'm game. It's a simple give and take strategy with forgiveness. She's the one who canceled, so I'm not going to put forth the effort to reschedule. The responsibility is on her, but if she does that, all is forgiven. On a more empathetic level, just ask yourself what you want. Would you regret it if there was a chance she was interested in a second attempt, but you needed to be the one to initiate and you didn't? So just initiate again. Be mindful of her previous actions, and if she continues to act in a way that makes her seem disinterested, then have enough self-respect to recognize she doesn't see you the same way you see yourself. Story 51. Could just be malaise. I used to say, let's go anyway. I'll take you home the minute you get tired. Then we'd go and have a fun date. Story 52. I would just write, no worries, feel better, and leave it up to her to reschedule with you. Don't give up hope, though. When I was trying to meet a guy I had matched with, he kept giving me the runaround because he had to study for a big licensing exam. Although I was a little suspicious, I didn't pressure him and left the ball in his court. Now we've been married for 13 years. And yes, the licensing exam was real. Story 53. Thanks for letting me know. Let me know when you want to reschedule. Then don't initiate again. Let her come back to you. Give it a week, and if there is nothing, block her. If she gives a new day and cancels again, just block her with no response. Story 54. Had a coffee date planned today with a girl. She rescheduled for today. I messaged her, saying, good morning. Let me know when you want to meet. Nothing. Sent her one more message saying I was available to meet anytime before 5. Still nothing. At that point, if you can't at least cancel and let me know you got caught up at work or something, it's not worth my time even if something did come up. It would have to be a very reasonable reason. Just feels bad. I've been seeing a girl I work with and have been flirting with for the last few months. We've been going out on casual friend dates like movies and dinner for a bit. I told her in January that I liked her and wanted it to go somewhere. She had recently gotten closure on her ex, which was a long-distance relationship, a month or two prior. She said she needed at least 3 months of single time. No problem. I like her as a friend and want to build a relationship. I brought it up again, but we're still in the friendship stage. Feels pretty bad. I've decided to take a step back unless she instigates anything. It's really odd. We went out for Valentine's Day. She takes turns paying for dates. She got me a gift for Christmas, and all the signs of liking me are there. She's flirty, sweet, honest. Still, it hurts worse though. Story 55. Going on dates can be mentally exhausting. Even if I want to meet someone, I might simply not feel up to it. I almost canceled a date with a girl at the last minute for this reason 2 days ago. I also asked myself how she could interpret it, and I never considered that she might see it the way you are interpreting it. It's less about being a guy or a girl and more about being introverted or extroverted. As an introvert, even if I want to meet someone, it will most likely be mentally exhausting and I might not be up for it. Just play it off, make it seem like no big deal, and then let her reach out next. Story 56. My reply would be something like, no worries. Feel free to reach out with a time and plan that works for you when you're ready, and then just not contact her again until she reaches out. Puts the ball in her court and frees you from any further effort. And if she never texts or calls you again, you know for sure how she feels. Story 57. Tell her you hope she feels better and to let you know when she'd like to reschedule. If she was sincere, she'll offer a new date. If she doesn't answer, there's no need for you to communicate with her again because you have your answer. It's possible she just changed her mind about being up for it tonight, but in that case, it's up to her to suggest when to reschedule, not you. And if this was a way of not seeing you, she'll have revealed that without requiring further effort from you. Story 58. Because what makes sense to you doesn't mean it will make sense to other people. Maybe you are needy. Anyone with options won't force themselves when they are tired. This is also a common test. Just be cool and roll with it. If you can test her or pressure her, she knows she's your only option. I would assume she is testing, so back off and see what happens. She may have found someone she likes more. This does happen. Story 59. I will say that if you aren't interested in seeing any movie in particular, then trying to make movie plans can be more of a you decide thing. Story 60. I disagree that she's not interested, or she wouldn't have agreed in the first place. Something or someone better came up. She's juggling, or maybe she is tired. Just play it cool, and if you really like her, try again after a while. Story 61. Cool. Let me know when you would be able to go out and we can set up a date. And if she never does, forget about her. Story 62. Just say, no worries. Get some rest. Let me know when you're free next. And move on to the next one because she isn't texting back. And if she does, then it's an extra win. Story 63. Be civil but distance yourself. I'm not saying completely ignore them, but they aren't showing you any effort, and you don't deserve that. In my dating app days, I would ask a maximum of 2 times. If they canceled with no intention of replanning, I would stop putting in the effort. From that point, it is very easy to read their intentions. If they ask you, great. If they don't, then you're able to move on and meet someone who values you and your time. Story 64. I found that if a girl is indecisive, you have to make an offer, like when we go to the cinema, we watch film X. Some may not have the energy to discuss the film, but would say yes if it wasn't bloody creatures from hell. Story 65. Everyone here in the comments is right. She's not interested. But let's take a closer look at why she's not interested. The first thing is that movies are a bad choice for the first few dates because you can't really get to know each other, which is the whole point. She may or may not be aware of this. But really, I think what caused her to not be interested is your lack of leadership and decisiveness. Asking her what she wants to see up until the point you're missing all the showings demonstrates to her that you don't have a plan. What women want is for you to say, we're going to see this movie. It starts at 8 p.m. I'm going to pick you up at 7:30 p.m. Afterwards, we'll get some ice cream at Cold Stone. I know you think you're being considerate and trying to get her opinion, but women don't want the mental overhead. They want you to make the plans, and they just want to show up for the experience. Story 66. I just tell her no worries and then leave the ball in her court. Don't contact her until she contacts you. Story 67. She should text your buddy, and don't compromise your self-respect on the first call. If she doesn't reach out to you at least 5 times, just leave that be. Story 68. Don't reply, just move on. It's not because she doesn't want to see you. Don't worry about it, on to the next one. Story 69. Yes, be careful. A woman recently made me beg her, and it backfired on me massively. I think you need to be strong and decisive and maintain your dignity. I know that's what I need to work on as well, but it's so hard because I need a woman so badly. Story 70. Nothing. You say nothing. She's shown a blatant disrespect for you and your time. You shouldn't waste any more of it on her. She's shown no effort on her behalf whatsoever. This is when you have to respect yourself enough to cut contact. Story 71. It's definitely not going to help to display frustration, but at the same time, being completely understanding seems to invite further flaking. The proper response, in my opinion, is just to avoid one of the bad responses, trying to force another meetup or voicing obvious annoyance. They aren't going to understand your frustration because they probably don't have experience with being flaked on like men do. Story 72. I always reply with, I've provided you with a golden opportunity which you have squandered. You will never be afforded another. Then sit back and watch the texting fireworks begin. I never respond. Story 73. Right. She is testing your interest level. This indicates she does not have much respect for you and suggests she may be a lower quality woman with insecurities. Your best move is to work on yourself to increase your sexual market value by going to the gym and reading books like Atomic Attraction to learn the behaviors you should adopt to be more attractive. You should not reply to her message. Simply ignore her and do not respond. Do not block her. If you contact her again, it's important to make no reference to the failed date. Pretend it never happened and make a completely new and separate invitation. Story 74. Reply that you understand how that can feel, and you've changed plans before because work or health made you too tired or mentally drained, so you understand. Even if that isn't true, say it. You hope some relaxation and rest help her feel better and that you'd love to reschedule. Being too tired is a very acceptable reason for postponing and happens quickly. Even if a person could push through it, it doesn't mean they should. Everyone is different and knows themselves better than you ever will. Don't question her message. Support her. Story 75. As someone who has bad anxiety, I have canceled at the last minute because it was too much and went with a weak excuse. I'm not saying it's right, but even though I really wanted to go, I just couldn't. Like others have said, go with no worries, and then leave it up to her to reach out. If she does it again, definitely move on. Story 76. Hi. Woman here who canceled on meeting a guy for the first time a couple of hours before we were supposed to get dinner because I was too tired. He left the decision with me. I messaged him the next morning after sleeping for 14 hours, and we met up for brunch. We've been together almost 5 years and married for just under 6 months. I know I'm the exception in this situation, but sometimes it can be utter exhaustion. I'm completely on board with leaving it up to her. Story 77. Never bear the burden twice in a row. You took your chance. If she is actually interested, she should take hers when she's ready. Story 78. So, maybe she is nervous and worried that she won't be the best version of herself today. You should tell her it's fine and give her the chance to reschedule if she wants to. Don't wait around for her. But also don't shut her down completely because she was tired. Sometimes people get tired. If you haven't even met yet, she most likely hasn't formed enough of an opinion of you to push through exhaustion to act lively. Many men here have obviously been hurt before, but for real, would you seriously be upset about someone canceling when you haven't even met? Story 79. Hey bro, if you ever have to question whether or not a girl is really into it, then she isn't. The right girl will go out of her way to make the effort and reciprocate. You did the right thing by leaving it and removing her. You protected your dignity and self-respect. Don't ever feel like you need to chase anyone. That just leads to wasted effort and overthinking. Story 80. Say, no worries. Let me know if you want to do it another time. Then you ghost her, don't message, and see if she responds. Story 81. I know a first date is probably different from what I'm about to say, but as an introvert, every time energetic me schedules something with someone on the day of, introvert me comes back around and looks for any excuse to cancel. Not saying this is what's happening in this case, and it shouldn't be an excuse for a first date. But I could see this scenario happening. If it's me, I would also want to be at my best on a first date, and if I'm not feeling high energy, it might be another reason to cancel. All this to say, it may not be the end of the world, but I would focus very intently on how the next interactions go. The responsibility is in her hands now. Story 82. भाई शुक्र मना वो तुझे अपनी फेवरेट क्लब में ले जाकर 10 to 15 वोडका शॉट्स कटक कर 10 to 30,000 का बिल बना कर बाउंसर्स के भरोस नहीं जोव गई. Shikar mana, Latki genuine high or muy alas aa raha high is a valid reason to cancel plans. Story 83. Her response tells you everything you need to know. I would reply with an okay and not say anything else. It might create some fear of missing out, and if it doesn't, at least you keep your dignity. Story 84. That is so rude of her. I'm sorry she responded that way. It's tempting to just delete and block, but be the one that got away and respond. Sorry to hear that. I was really looking forward to tonight. Then block, delete, and never talk to her again. She's a game player. Your lady is out there and she's not it. Story 85. You can always give her the benefit of the doubt that tired is a code for something she doesn't want to admit. I've used that in instances when I got into a fight with my mom and was a crying mess or something like that. Maybe she got her period and wants to delay because of that. It might not be likely, but there's a chance the excuse is hiding something legitimate she doesn't feel comfortable saying. The solution is to let her reschedule to find out her level of interest. Definitely say, let me know when you'd like to reschedule, so she knows you're still interested. Story 86. As annoying as it is, this is better than just ghosting. At least you didn't sit there twiddling your thumbs. Leave it in her court and move on. Story 87. Reply, it's all good, or no worries, and move on. Don't waste your time and energy. Don't make yourself believe that she wanted to go but was actually tired. Story 88. First time canceling? Let it slide. If she does it again, then move on. Use some patience. My wife did that to me when we started dating. It's not fun, but once I got to know her and she got to know me, I understood. If she blows you off 3 times, move on. Story 89. Others have nailed it. Reply, no worries, and go on with life. In my personal experience, unless the girl has a legitimate excuse like she is very sick and immediately offers to reschedule, then she is simply not interested. Even the ones that rescheduled, many of them still flaked on the next date. Story 90. You don't reply. She's already made it clear that you're not a priority. Why waste any more effort? Story 91. Don't even reply if she doesn't mention another time you all can meet. It's okay to be petty sometimes. Story 92. Tell her, that's cool. Don't make any more effort unless she's actively trying to set another date. If she cancels a date at the last minute again, cut all contact. Story 93. Send something like, all good, and never text her again. She's talking to other guys, and you were not her first option. If you weren't today, you'll likely never be. Move on. Some comments say to leave the door open in case she wants to reschedule. If she wanted to see you, she'd propose another date immediately. Don't be anything else other than plan A. Story 94. Chalk it up as a loss. She either got cold feet after reviewing your profile again, searching for your social media, or she scheduled a date with another guy she's more interested in, so you got pushed out. Another excuse you'll hear is, I'm not ready to date, after a first or second date. It's code for she didn't like you, or she'll mention seeing you again and then send a rejection text the next day. Don't get your hopes up if she seems to be enjoying herself. Take it all in stride. Story 95. I love how this thread is a mix of sound logical advice and bad advice from people that think 2 months is a long relationship. Story 96. Just tell me sooner next time, so I can meet up with a friend instead. In the Czech language, it would be obvious I'm talking about a female friend. Story 97. Just ignore her. She's not worth it unless you find out she had a good reason to cancel. Story 98. Just say, okay, that's all good. Then don't message again. If she was really interested, she will message again. But that's unlikely now. On to the next one, don't worry about it, bro. Story 99. I have dealt with unreliable people like this. Some individuals have various reasons for their behavior, such as anxiety and difficulty handling situations. In my opinion, I would lose interest and likely leave the next step up to her by saying something like, I was looking forward to seeing you. How about you call me when you're free next? Have a good night. That way, if she contacts me again, I can give her the benefit of the doubt that she was tired and see if she follows through on setting up another date. If she never calls, I know she is just not interested in me. Story 100. You have two options. Express your dissatisfaction and show how eager you are to leave your mother's basement, or move on to the date you had scheduled 2 hours later and bring it forward by an hour. I cannot believe how many men are at the constant demand of women. Do your parents not teach you how to take control of your life? Story 101. I would tell her that you've been looking forward to spending time together. Ask if there's anything she can do with her limited time. If she makes an effort, then that's great. If she finds more reasons not to, then she may not be mature enough to communicate honestly that she's not interested, and you don't want to be with someone who can't be honest with you. Story 102. The next day, you text back that you went out, and you can state that you went out with others or indirectly indicate that you went out with someone else. Story 103. Girl, you're missing the experience of your life. I was going to drill you like I was looking to strike oil. Wherever she happens to be standing when she reads that and feels overwhelmed, they'll need to call emergency flood response, and she'll call you immediately back after she gets rescued. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.